Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are very happy to greet all of you here, and my name is Miraz and my colleague
I'm Friska.
will be your master ceremony for today's conference. And welcome to the third WCO RTC Indonesia International Conference Customs Role on Sustainability and Digital Economy.
Dear Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, we express our gratitude to the Almighty for the blessings that have allowed us to convene at this conference. Now, I would like to extend a heartfelt and warm welcome to the Honorable Chairman of the Financial Education and Training Agency, Ministry of Finance of the Republic of Indonesia, Bapak Andin Hadianto. Echelon 1 officials in Ministry of Finance of the Republic of Indonesia, distinguished Echelon 2 officials in Ministry of Finance of the Republic of Indonesia, World Customs Organization Strategic Planning Analyst, Mr. Ferdinand Desmazieres, representative from Green Customs Initiative, United Nations Environment Program, Ms. Jacqueline Wanjiru, and Director of the Basel and Stockholm Conventions Regional Center for Southeast Asia, Bapak Anton Purnomo.
Distinguished College Customs Administration in Asia Pacific. For your information, this event is being conducted in a hybrid format and with over 100 participants here in our venue in Jakarta. And we also honored to welcome all of you who participate this event through the Zoom meeting virtually from various locations in the Asia Pacific region.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us at today's conference. This is our first day at the third WCO RTC Indonesia International Conference. But not only that, Miras, this is also our first conference in 2023.
Of course, it is an honor for us given this opportunity and responsibility, and hopefully the RTC Indonesia will contribute more greatly to the international customs community. And on these auspicious days, we take a great pride in donning a traditional attire of Kalimantan, one of Indonesia's diverse, culturally rich region. This choice carries profound significance rooted in Indonesian government's recent decision to relocate the country's capital city from Jakarta to the Kalimantan.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, before we commence with today's agenda, let us come together to listen the Indonesian national anthem, Indonesia Raya. We kindly request all attendees in person to rise. seat back. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, to begin today's conference, and to further inspire and motivate our esteemed participants, we are honored to extend a special invitation to the Honorable Chairman of the Financial Education and Training Agency, Ministry of Finance of the Republic of Indonesia, Bapak Andin Hadianto. Please, the floor is yours.
All senior officials from the Ministry of Finance of the Republic of Indonesia, Eselon 1, Eselon 2, and other officials attending here, Bapak Bobi, Pak Parjono, Pak Dwi Teguh, and others, directors and reviewer experts in the scope of Director General of Custom and Excise and Indonesia Single Window Agency, resource persons and authors of selected papers from various institutions in Indonesia and other countries, and distinguished participants. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to apologize that Minister of Finance of Indonesia, Madam Sri Mulyani Indrawati, cannot be with us this morning because of her urgent agenda. And she sent her best regard to all of you, and hoping that all of you enjoying the discussion for the next 2 days. He also hoped that all of you get a lot of benefit from the discussions. Let me begin by welcoming all participants who are attending the third RCT Indonesia International Conference in person, and also the participants who are joining us virtually. It is indeed an honor and a pleasure for me to deliver a keynote remarks on these important occasions, where we aim to explore the multi-phase role of customs in fostering sustainability and embracing the digital era in the global trade landscape. The intertwining of sustainability and digitalization within custom processes represent a pivotal moment in the evolution of global trade. The world is navigating unprecedented challenges posed by environmental degradations and the urgency to curtail it, while simultaneously embracing the digital revolutions. It is within these intersections that custom agencies play a critical role in shaping a future that is not only efficient and digitally driven, but also environmentally responsible and sustainable. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainability Development, which was adopted by United Nations in 2015, is an urgent global call for action by all countries. As stipulated in preamble, world leaders affirmed that they are determined to protect the planet from degradations, including through sustainable consumption and productions, sustainably managing its natural resources, and taking urgent actions on climate change so that it can support the needs of the present and future generations. Not only the governments, it calls on businesses to help solve the world's environmental challenges by 2030 by integrating change, innovation, and creativity into their practices and initiatives. While business is trying to lowering their emission and investing on a renewable energy, circular economy has been introduced as an alternative for more sustainable model. Circular economy basically aims to recycle and reuse products as much as possible, thus reducing waste and minimizing the use of resources. Many experts said that investing in circular economy is not only beneficial from environmental point of view, but also a sound investment for the economy. The growing popularity of the circular economy has implications for key players in the supply chains, including customs, to take a stand in this transition. World Custom Organizations, on behalf of custom community, is trying to bring strong message and concrete activities to contribute to the sustainability goals and tackle environmental issues by incorporating green customs as one of the focus area of the WTO Strategic Plans 2022-2025. The strategic plan will make sure that sufficient attention is brought to the matter and that concrete initiatives are explored to place the WTO in the right direction in this area. In particular, trade-related aspects will be further studied, such as circular economy and waste management. Going further, WCO established a green custom action plan with 3 building blocks. First is being, refers to the measures that custom administration can take or develop to reduce their own environmental footprints. Second is doing, refers to how custom protect the environment and facilitate green trade. Third is innovating, to test the transformative ideas towards sustainability excellence. I also note that the WCO has established a close cooperation with the United Nations Environmental Program, or UNEP, through the Green Custom Initiative, CGI, which is aimed to enhance custom capacity to monitor and facilitate the legal trade and to detect and prevent illegal trade in environmentally sensitive commodities covered by the relevant convention and multilateral environmental agreements, or MEAs. One of the WCO key projects in the enforcement of MEAs that has been concluded recently is the Asia-Pacific Plastic Waste Border Management Project, focusing on the implementation of the Basel Conventions and specifically on matters related to transboundary movement of plastic waste. For this, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to the WCO who has given the opportunity for Indonesia to participate in these projects. Looking ahead to the challenges of the circular economy, for example, the increase of trading in waste, refurbishment and remanufacturing, reuse and repair. So custom must be prepared to facilitate and prepare adequate control instruments for the movement of environmentally sensitive goods. As reported by the WCO in the STARDE reports on transition to a circular economy and implication for custom administrations, in terms of circular economy, facilitation and enforcement are interdependent. Custom administration will need to facilitate trade in reverse to supply chains, while at the same time effectively detecting and preventing waste crime. To address this challenge, customs should enhance the basic knowledge of circular economy, understanding the progress status of national implementations, as well as understanding the various multilateral environmental agreements to be able to enforce effectively. Additionally, customs need to explore challenges and opportunities with regard to HS codes, valuations, rules of origins, AEO, and treatment of remanufactured goods. Ladies and gentlemen, custom has a great potential in driving the progress of the Sustainable Development Goals related to environment. At the border, customs are ensuring goods traded meets health and safety and environmental protection regulations. Custom can also significantly disrupt pollution-related crime and protect the environment through the monitoring, detection, and prevention of all forms of environmental crime, including violations of environmental standards and illegal trafficking in all kinds of wildlife. Therefore, it is sensible to explore how custom can make further contribution to sustainability, and I'm very glad that this conference will be able to facilitate discussion on this topic. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in the ever-evolving landscape of global commerce, the role of digitalization cannot be overlooked. As we may be aware that COVID-19 has been accelerating the digital transformation across the globe, and also restriction on social activities, mobilization, and physical contact have led to the increase in people online activities. Digitalization and automation have been sought to be accelerated. At the global level, WCO also has focus area on technology and innovation, aiming to reduce the digital gap between member countries and promoting agility for custom through digitalization of custom procedures, the use of data analytics, and information exchange. Furthermore, in the context of customs, the implementation of digital transformation will greatly support the main role of customs as trade facilitator, revenue collector, community protectors, and industrial assistants. Many organizations are now moving towards a data-driven organizations, promoting data analysis for decision-making, and also data analytics enable custom administration to improve the ability to detect non-compliant behavior or violations such as suspicious custom declarations, irregular movement of goods, people, and also illicit financial flows. Furthermore, advanced data analytics such as predictive analysis allows the custom administration to reliably forecast trends, identify potential fraud, and finding alternative to increase revenue. Not only custom organization itself, the biggest beneficiary of implementation of digitalization in custom is the business sector. For businesses, acceleration of custom clearance will inevitably be beneficial, as it will help reduce logistic costs and will ultimately increase their competitiveness in national and global markets. As a result of digital transformations, the digital economy is also gaining momentum to scale up significantly, in particular in e-commerce. In fact, e-commerce is the biggest contributor to digital economy in Indonesia. We can see various data shows that Indonesia's e-commerce users continue to increase every year. In the last 5 years, the numbers has sharply doubled. By 2023, it is estimated that the number of e-commerce users will almost reach 200 million. In terms of value, Bank Indonesia recorded the value of e-commerce transaction in Indonesia at 476.3 trillion US dollar by 2022. This enormous number is projected to continue to increase for the next few years. With such rapid developments, e-commerce has created both opportunities and challenges. E-commerce has significant advantages over traditional commerce, since it enables enterprises to reach new markets easily. This market access is needed especially for small and medium enterprises to expand their business without having to pay additional costs. On the other hand, rapid increase in the number of e-commerce transactions poses new challenges for customs around the world. the high volume of low-value goods, misuse of the minimalist value by splitting, undervaluing consignments are the common challenges of e-commerce. While at the same time, e-commerce platforms often misused by criminals for illegal activities, including illicit trade and smuggling of weapons, drug, counterfeited goods, etc. It might also be involved in illicit financial flows, money laundering, or even terrorism financing. I am fully aware that each custom administration have a different approach to address the dynamic development of e-commerce. This forum will be a great platform to discuss challenges and opportunities, as well as exchange best practices related to e-commerce and the digital economy in general. Not only from customer perspective, but also from academia. Distinguished participants, I am very excited that over the next 2 days, we will be delivering deeper into 2 topics of concern to the global community, sustainability and digital economy, while exploring the custom role in this area. On top of that, we will be listening to various speakers and gain insight from the papers that have been selected to be presented at this conference. Taking this opportunity, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to all speakers. Today, we have representatives from World Customs Organization, or WCO, United Nations Environment Program, or UNEP, and Basel Convention Regional Center, BCRC, for Southeast Asia. Tomorrow, we have representatives from DHL Express, Royal Malaysian Customs Department, Shanghai Customs College of China Customs, and Indonesia's Director General of Customs and Excise. I do appreciate your valuable time for this conference. I would also like to thank all the participants who have joined us today, and I hope for an interactive discussion, and for that I expect active participation from all of you. Finally, I wish you a very successful conference and fruitful outcomes. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Bapak Andin Handianto. It is a tremendous honor to have you with us today, and your remarkable remarks are sure to illuminate this event and provide invaluable perspective on this significant topic at hand. And ladies and gentlemen, before we start our next agenda, we would like to invite Bapak Andin Hadianto again to join us for the photo session. And also we would like to invite all high officials in Ministry of Finance who come here, attend this event in person. And we would like to invite Bapak Anton Purnomo from BCRC to join us in photo session today. Thank you. You may now have your seat.
Ladies and gentlemen, on this inaugural day of the 3rd WCO RTC Indonesia International Conference, as a token of our warm welcome, we are delighted to present a special welcome dance This dance not only embodies the gracious hospitality of RTC Indonesia, but also showcases the abundant cultural richness of our beloved nation. Ladies and gentlemen, we will present you the Tari Piring. Please give a big applause to the flexible dancing space.
Once again, please big applause for Flexible Dancing Space, and for your information, that was Tari Piring, also known as the plate dance, is a traditional Indonesian dance that hails from Minangkabau region of West Sumatra. And ladies and gentlemen, in this morning we are happy to meet Pak Justinus Prastowo, Staf Khusus Menteri Keuangan Bidang Komunikasi Strategis atau Strategic Communication. Selamat pagi Bapak Justinus. Oke, mungkin sedang ada technical issues.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Right now, we are pleased to invite you to join us in watching a documentary that captures the highlight of the international conference activities held in both 2021 and 2022. This retrospective will provide valuable insight and a glimpse into the significant discussions, collaborations, and achievements of the past 2 years. Please enjoy the presentation.
Welcome to the Indonesian Customs and Excise Training Center, located at the Directorate General Customs and Excise Headquarters Complex in Rawamangun, East Jakarta. It was established in 1966, aiming to provide world-class quality training within the fields of customs and excise. Indonesian Customs and Excise Training Center is a part of Finance Education and Training Agency under the Ministry of Finance of the Republic of Indonesia and headed by a director. With its 14 best trainers who are highly qualified and well-respected specialists in their field. The Indonesian Customs and Excise Training Center has officially become the regional training center for the Asia-Pacific region after being endorsed by the head of customs administrations in the Asia-Pacific region at 21st WCO AP Regional Head of Customs Administration Conference on November 12, 2020. The commencement was marked with the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding between the World Customs Organization and the Ministry of Finance of the Republic of Indonesia on January 29, 2021. We organize customs and excise courses in a various number of specialized fields through the annual scheduled training programs and other additional courses to meet the training needs that arise every year. We also adopt diverse strategies to promote digital learning activities that result in the massive open online courses such as e-learning, distance learning, webinar, and talk show. The building features training facilities that consist of administrative offices for the Customs Training Department, a 100-seat auditorium for trainings and large group meetings, 19 classrooms, each with the capacity of 30 students, training lab with the equipment for simulation training, mock container examination, 3 dormitories with 70 rooms, digital learning room, computer laboratory, mini office, library, lounge, studio, main hall, dining room, fitness center, entertainment room, stadium, swimming pool, tennis court, now we are more than ready to be the best place to respond to officers' training needs, to forge links with neighboring countries, and to facilitate the follow-up World Customs Organization programs in the Asia-Pacific region.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, now we are going to have a 15-minute break, and we are going back at 10 a.m. Jakarta time. You may utilize this time to grab some coffee or tea that provided by the committee at the outside of this hall. Thank you. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, right now we are going to start our conference again. So if there's any participant who will still there outside, please you can enter the rooms again because we are going to start this conference again. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our first day at the third WCO RTC Indonesia International Conference with the theme Customs Role in Sustainability and Digital Economy. These two crucial sub-themes have been carefully selected for their alignment with Indonesia's chairmanship in ASEAN for the year 2023 and their resonance with the WCO strategic plan for 2022 to 2025. Now, we would like to provide an overview of our agenda for today. This morning, we have a stimulating and insightful discussion planned featuring our esteemed moderator and invited speakers. Following this session, we will have a scheduled break to recharge and then reconvene for the presentation of selected papers. And we would like to remind, if you have any questions, you may want to drop your questions regarding the topic via the link provided for the Q&A. And we would like to remind all participants that you have to fill out both the registration and the evaluation form on the link tree so you can get the e-certificate for today's conference.
Distinguished participant, we are now entering a special segment of our event today. For the first time, we will delve into a vital topic of customs' role on sustainability and green customs. And to guide us through these enlightening plenary sessions, it is our privilege to introduce our esteemed moderator. And our moderator brings a wealth of experience in academia with role as a researcher at Stan Research, a mentor at Pablons in the field of book publishing, and a reviewer at the Indonesian Treasury Review, a publication of the Indonesia Ministry of Finance. And in 2013, he successfully completed his PhD at Ritsumeikan Asia Pacific University. And in 2017, he was appointed as the head of Kuala Tanjung Custom Office in North Sumatra. And presently, he holds the distinguished position of Deputy Director of Training Planning and Development at RTC Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us in extending a warm welcome to Bapak Yudi Darmanauli.
Thank you, Friska and Miras.
Sure.
You look lovely in that wardrobe.
Thank you.
Are you both from Kalimantan?
Oh, no, I'm
No.
from West Java.
I'm from East Java.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. You young generation definitely strengthen the unity of Indonesia.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Let us invite Pak Anton Purnomo to join me here. He's one of the speakers today. Let us begin our session. The Honorable Senior Officials of the Ministry of Finance of Republic Indonesia, our main speakers for today's international conference, Mr. Ferdinand Desmaziers, Ms. Jacqueline Wanjiru, and Bapak Anton Purnomo. Distinguished custom officers from administration around the world, and last but not least, participants. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the third WCO RTC Indonesia International Conference. The theme of this conference is Customs' Role on Sustainability and Digital Economy. It is my pleasure to serve you as the moderator for this session. The program for this session is as follows. Shortly, we will listen to the presentation by Mr. Ferdinand Desmaziers about the WCO Green Custom Action Plan. Afterwards, Ms. Jacqueline Wanjiru will deliver her presentation regarding the UN Green Custom Initiative, and later on, Dr. Anton Purnomo will entertain us with his presentation on the role of customs on eliminating the production, use, trade, release and storage of hazardous waste. After the three presentations, we will have a 45-minute session for discussion. Hopefully, we will have a lively and productive discussion this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, let us begin the presentation session. Our first presenter is Mr. Ferdinand Desmaziers. He's a strategic planning analyst at the World Customs Organization. The WCO is an intergovernmental organization which works on customs-related matters, including the development of international conventions, instruments, and technical tools. Today, the WCO represents 185 customs administrations across the globe that collectively process approximately 98% of world trade. As the global center for custom expertise, the WCO is the only international organization with competence in custom matters and can rightly call itself the voice of the international custom community. In his work as a strategic planning analyst at the WCO, Mr. Desmaziers mainly involved in W strategic plan, environmental scan, and modernization. He held his position since October 2018. Before joining the WCO, he worked as policy advisor on international custom at European and International Federation of Freight Forwarders Association. Previously, he worked as public affairs consultant at Euralia from February 2012 to April 2013, and as public affairs advisor at Carrefour, specialized in environment, food, and CSR issues, from February 2009 and to November 2011. Mr. Desmaziers holds a master's degree in European Affairs, which he obtained from the Catholic University of Paris in 2009. He also holds a bachelor's degree in Economics and Social Science, which he obtained from the same university in 2007. Good morning, Mr. Desmaziers. Can you join, or you already join us? Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Thank you for joining us. How are you today?
I'm good, and actually it's 4 o'clock in the morning in
Yes.
Brussels, so it's quite early for me. but very pleased to join you and then to be invited to this event.
On behalf of the committee, I would like to express our highest appreciation for your participation, Mr. Desmaziers. I heard that Brussels is very beautiful this autumn.
Oh yes, it is. It is, but the weather is starting to be bad again. We had a nice summer, but you know, in Brussels, it's a lot of rain. So,
I wish I could visit the WCO headquarters in the future.
oh yeah, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you cannot wait any longer to listen to his presentation. So without further ado, please welcome Mr. Ferdinand Desmaziers. Mr. Desmaziers, the time is yours.
An acceptable outcome that preserves harmony. Yet, despite this long history of informal mediation being very much a part.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. I think I will start the presentation now. I will share my screen. So I hope that everybody can listen. So I will introduce myself, but not so much. So I am Ferdinand Desmaziers, as indicated by the moderator, working for the WTO for the last 5 years in strategic planning. I will jump into the presentation directly. So as I said, it's 4 o'clock in the morning in Brussels. So if I am confused sometime, please forgive me. I'm not used to be awake so early. So let's start the presentation just with a small slide explaining to you a bit the strategic plan as it is right now. It's organized in different layers, so we have 5 layers that are made to attain an objective, which is the end result, provide leadership, guidance, and support to customs administration. To reach this objective, we need to work on 4 main objectives that are related to members' daily practices. So in trade facilitation, revenue collection, protection of society, and organizational development. And the 3rd layer is more about what the WTO is supposed to do to reach these objectives. So mainly it's about its core functions that are articulated around the development and maintenance of instruments, the fostering of customs cooperation, and the capacity building, which is one of the main aspects of the WTO. These functions are supported by two other functions, research and communication. And the 4th layer, which will be the one that interested us today, is about the focus areas. So we have 3 focus areas in the WTO. These areas are of importance because it's a recognition from the organization that these are areas of great interest for now and for the future. But the issue is that we are not mature enough in the knowledge that we have around these focus areas, and we need to work more to gather more knowledge and expertise. Among these focus areas, we have technology and innovation and green customs, which are the 2 major issues that are discussed today in this conference. So I will start with green customs. So I was invited to present the Green Customs Action Plan. Actually, Green Customs is something new at the level of the WTO. All the topics related to the environment are not new. As you know, we have an environmental program which deal mainly with waste and wildlife, etc. But this program was quite isolated because it was a compliance program, and we didn't have a real corporate approach about green customs for the WTO as a whole. And discussion started in 2021 and 2022 about this concept of green customs. But at the time, the issue was to define what is really green customs. Nobody really knew that. So we did two things. We did one global event, the Green Customs Global Conference, in June 2022, which showed that governments were more and more increasingly required to enter in this green matters. And we also did a survey to our members to understand what should be covered by green customs, because at the end it's a subjective term, and we need to be sure that we address correctly what was meant by green customs. So the main replies received from our 185 members was that green customs should be generating environmental benefits through digitalization and paperless procedures. So this is the main thing, and we all know that the greening of customs was really related to this digitalization of procedure and paperless practices. The other one is monitoring and enforcing the implementation of MEAs, and the third one was implementing trade facilitation measure for these green goods. And this was the first step towards the development of the Green Customs Action Plan for the WCO. Finally, it was discussed during the development of the strategic plan 2022-2025. We discussed with members what should be the three focus areas of the strategic plan. It was long discussion. We really consulted the members to see exactly what should be these focus areas, and green customs came as one of these matters that we should address in the strategic plan. And at this stage, we worked on a definition for green customs, which went a bit beyond what was discussed before during the global green conference and the survey. And we decided to categorize the action of the WTO and of customs around three major topics of interest, which were mainly based on the being. And here the being is about greening the administration themselves. The doing, so what kind of thing the WTO and customs could do as policy measure to green trade and to green supply chains, and innovating, which means that we need to have a proactive mindset, and we need to go beyond what we know, what we traditionally do, because at the end, customs are dealing with goods on a daily basis, but it's always good to have this innovative mindset to prepare the future and to know what will be the needs in the future to remain sustainable and to remain relevant in the context of international trade. So we develop a definition. I will not read the full definition, which is at the bottom of the slide, but it's really to explain that it's articulated around the being, doing, and innovating. If I want to go a bit into more detail, I would say that the being, well, if you see the three boxes, because there is a lot of text here, but there is a recognition that in the being, doing, and innovating, we need to gather more expertise. We need to know exactly what our members are doing, what the entire world is doing to be able to see what customs should be and what customs should do. So we need to know that we are not fully ready yet, and we need to gather more experience to be able to provide our members with capacity building, for instance, and or to develop a set of key performance indicators to be able to assess the performance of members in being green. In the doing, we need also to be ready to work more with other organizations to develop a joint projects, etc. Because at the end, we cannot do green operation alone. If we want the world to move in the same direction, we will need to cooperate with other, and definitely customs has a role to play in that. And innovating, as I said, it's all about these topics that we didn't really enter to yet, but that will represent something important for trade in the future, and for the way customs are operating. So we are talking about disruptive technologies, for instance, but we also address circular economy. I will come back to this a little bit later, but circular economy can be a really game changer for trade. Partnership with academia, because usually they know how to be innovative and to suggest some topics for the future. And the sharing of experiences about, for instance, mechanism to reduce carbon leakage. All of these things where customs can contribute, we need to have an open mind and to see what could be our added value in this current world, but in the future as well. About the doing, so the second box. One of the main aspects is to be able to green our main instruments within the WCO, meaning that what we usually use as standards for international trade as customs should get this approach about green product and recognize that. If we want to become green, we need to be able to identify green products and to categorize them, to be able to make statistics, etc. And for us, it started with the HS. So we organized a series of symposia to discuss different aspects of the HS, different kind of products that could be considered in the next version of the HS as a green product. We did that between October 2022 and January 2023, and there was 5 different symposia that focused on food, on chemicals, textile, the life cycle of basic materials. So when we are talking about life cycle, it's really circular economy, and the environmental credential of technology. So how can we apply a green status on IT equipment? Another aspect on which we develop some green perspective is around the safe framework of standards, and especially the single window environment. Here we are talking about cooperation, because the single window environment offers the possibility for multiple agencies to work together, and we started to get some practices from members to understand how the green goods or the goods with environmental significance, good or bad, were treated through the single windows, and we discovered that there was opportunity to improve the relation between different authorities working on green policies, or even to reinforce the coordination between customs, for instance, and environmental authorities. There are a variety of cooperative arrangements. It's not always easy to have a decision making. There are differences between countries. So here, to be able to work together and to develop a culture of green supply chain, we need to work further on this aspect of cooperation with other agencies. Just as an example of other things that we are doing, we are now moving a bit more in project related to green aspect. So I know that the Asia Pacific region knows quite well the plastic waste project, which was quite successful, conducted from April 2020 to 2023. Now this project, it was about the implementation of the Basel Convention, and now that this project is over, we can think about developing new kind of project related to green customs, because of course it's going beyond the waste, and there is a need of capacity building in general in all the green aspect. So when we see the success of this project, we can think about extending this to other ones. Here we are more in the innovating approach, and I would say that in the WCO we developed a study report on circular economy. So circular economy is really something that we need to deal with, here we can see that circular economy is really related to the green aspect, but also to the data aspect, and it will be my shift to the work of the WCO on IT aspect, on technology. If we want circular economy to function, we need to define what we mean when we talk about this project, and we need to define a correct framework to exchange data, which is one of the main issue to have a successful transition to not only circular economy but green economy. We need to be able to exchange data and to bridge the gaps that exist on that. And we have also a new kind of criminality that is more related to compliance. And well, the green economy is of course coming with opportunity, but also challenges. And on a customs perspective, we always need to rightly balance trade facilitation with protection of society. So we need to be aware of this as well. The greening of economies is also providing new opportunities for criminals. So and especially through the digitalization, and we need to be prepared and we need to be aware of this. Just some consideration for now, because I know that the general information provided before the meeting talked a lot about the strategic plan and especially the environmental scan. So usually we have this environmental scan that prepares the next strategy. And this year we are working on the environmental scan 2024 that will be the basis of the strategic plan 2025-2028. And we have some findings showing that, and it's not a surprise, but showing that even if the entire world is moving towards more a greening of operation, etc., the real needs are not met,
Excuse me,
and
Mr.
and we all,
Desmaziers, your time,
yes,
2 more minutes, okay?
yeah, okay, no problem.
Yes.
So yeah, we need to work more on that. And okay, just to address the IT part quickly, as I said, it's all about data. So now in the WCO we launched the data strategy, which is meant to define a common set of data and statistics to be able to produce and reports and to take better decision making. When it comes to the greening of the economy, we really need data and statistics. So we need to work all together to define common data sets and to understand what is meant with green or digital economy. Of course, e-commerce is still growing. The cybercrime will be one of the main aspects to be tackled. And when I talk about cybercrime, it means that for instance, I will mention the dark web, which is a marketplace where criminals can really act. And for customs, it means that a new role and new competencies and new skills will be needed. Customers are changing as well with the use of application, and for customs operation, it will be completely different. It will mean that we will need to be ready to simplify everything and to use AI and other kind of technology to meet the customer's expectation. So yeah, AI is really a way forward for green economy, but for the efficiency of customs in general. And yeah, and for the future, the work of the WCO and customs will be to focus on data, building trust between different operators, working together to define a common data set. And yeah, I think I will stop here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your presentation, Mr. Desmaziers. Ladies and gentlemen, I know that you have questions for Mr. Desmaziers. However, please hold your question for a while because we still have 2 more speakers before our discussion time. Our second speaker is Ms. Jacqueline Wanjiru, who is a legal officer at the United Nations Environment Program. UNEP is the UN agency that leads and coordinates the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals and other global environmental convention. It unites 193 member states in an effort to find solution to climate change, nature and biodiversity loss, and pollution and waste, collectively known as the triple planetary crisis. As a legal officer with the Law Division of UNEP, Ms. Wanjiru provides technical legal assistance to states in developing effective environmental legal framework and strengthening environmental institutions. She also manages the day-to-day activities of the Green Customs Initiatives Secretariat, a partnership of 13 international entities that enhance the capacity of customs to combat illegal trade in environmentally sensitive commodities. Ms. Wanjiru holds a LLM in international law from the Graduate Institute of International and Development Studies in Geneva. She also holds a Bachelor of Law from Kenyatta University and is an advocate of the Kenyan High Court. Hujambo, Miss Manjiru. Can you hear me?
Jambo sana. Yes, I hear you.
Habari gani?
Mzuri sana. I was not expecting this.
Thank you very much for participating in this conference, Miss Wanjiru. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you are all eager to listen to Miss Wanjiru's presentation. So, without delaying any further, please give a warm welcome to Miss Jacqueline Wanjiru. Miss Wanjiru, you have 20 minutes time, and the time is yours.
Thank you so much, Mr. Moderator, and thank you to the RTC and the Indonesian government for giving me this opportunity and for giving the GCI Secretariat this opportunity to share with you and also to learn from you about how we can advance green customs. So as the moderator said, I'm a legal officer within the Law Division of UNEP. I particularly work for a team called the Montevideo Coordination and Delivery Unit. And basically our mandate is to provide technical legal assistance to countries. We also host the Secretariat to what is called the Green Customs Initiative, not to be confused with the WCO Green Customs Initiatives that Mr. Ferdinand alluded to. But I will talk more about GCI. So Mr. Ferdinand did a very good job of providing the overarching definition of green customs. And my focus will be on one component of the green customs definition, and that is the MEAs, what we call multilateral environmental agreements. I'm sure some of you have heard of it, but I will provide more details about it, excuse me. So we all know, the dichotomy that has been there in the past between trade and the environment, and the debate on whether the objectives of the different fields can be mutually compatible. This has, been passed by events now. Traditionally, trade was associated with growth and revenues, but now we have the concept of sustainable development ingrained in all the activities that we do. And this is reinforced by several international instruments. For instance, if you look at the Rio Declaration on the Environment and Development, or even prior to that in 1970s, the Stockholm Declaration on the Human Environment. And much later, when the WTO was established, it also provides for the mutual supportiveness of trade and environmental policies. So now it's a foregone conclusion that we have to ingrain sustainable development into governmental operations, including into customs work. This is despite the fact that, conventionally customs is associated to, collection of revenues and development of, protection of economic interests of the country. When it comes to international environmental law, a big bulk of this field of law is what we call multilateral environmental agreements, MEAs. And these have mushroomed over the years from the 1970s to now. In the 1970s, we had, some popular conventions like the CITES, which deals with endangered species of plants and animals. And then we went to the 1980s and they started, increasing. We have the Montreal Protocol to the Vienna Convention, which is one of the most successful MEAs to date. And then into 1990s, when you had the UNFCCC, which most of you might know, it's one of the more popular MEAs. And then into the 20s, 2000s, and into the 2000s rather, when we had the latest MEA, which is the Minamata Convention that deals with the chemicals. This is the new baby in the MEA as well. But now we're in discussions to have a new MEA that will regulate plastics, including in the marine environment. Some of you might have heard of this. And next week, the whole world will congregate in Nairobi to further discussions on this plastics treaty. And it is important for customs to also keep in the know about what's going on because it may or may not have trade provisions, and this may be relevant to your work. It's very likely that it will have some trade provisions given, the huge trade volumes of plastic and plastic waste in the world. So what are MEAs? These are international treaties, conventions, agreements, so the terminologies may differ, that pursue environmental objectives. And they are in their hundreds, so they are a lot. Some of them may be overarching, like the Convention on Biological Diversity, which covers everything to do with biodiversity. Others may be quite specific, like the Minamata or the BRS that deals with chemicals and waste. And they usually have binding agreements on the states that are signatories or that are, have ratified them. And usually they are administered by what we call MEA secretariats, and the United Nations Environment Programme hosts a lot of these MEA secretariats, well, several of the MEA secretariats. And they have a governance structure, which is usually at the top with the Conference of the Parties. This is basically all the parties or member states that have ascribed to that MEA, and they make the decisions on the day-to-day running of the secretariats or the priorities or renewed focus in regards to implementation. Most importantly for customs, some of these MEAs have provisions to control trade of environmentally sensitive commodities. So about 15 to 20 or so MEAs have such trade provisions. And this is why customs is deemed to have a role in implementation of MEAs because of the trade aspect. As we all know and we repeat a lot of the times, customs are the frontline defenders to all the goods that come into the country. And so this includes environmentally sensitive commodities. And how we sum it at the GCI Secretariat is that most illicit activities affecting the environment take place beyond national borders. So there's a transboundary component to environmental crime, as Ferdinand was pointing out. By ensuring that the relevant laws are enforced at borders, customs and border control officers play a pivotal role in the enforcement chain, helping to protect citizens and the environment from the increasingly devastating effects of these activities. So you can see that this is quite a privileged role that the customs have because it has implications not only on the environment, but also on health. And the customs community has been realizing and recognizing this role. The WCO has been at the front line of this. Early on, in 2008, they had a recommendation on activities affecting the environment. They also have a declaration on illegal trade in wildlife. So you can see piecemeal, there is increasing interest in having customs take up more of an active role in implementing MEAs. And the main thing that customs do is, to regulate the inflow and outflow of commodities. And for MEA's purposes, the goods that are regulated are environmentally sensitive commodities. The trade of these commodities may not, themselves be illegal. It depends on the MEA that is regulating them or the national laws that correspond to that MEAs. But these kinds of goods are wide-ranging. They could include anything from ivory to pharmaceuticals to leather products to timber to HFC refrigerants to electronic waste to plastic waste to second-hand clothes, many things. but the common denominator is that they are goods that are regulated under the different MEAs. And each specific MEAs will have a system of regulating such goods. So for instance, CITES that I mentioned before has appendices where it categorizes good products, animal or plant products, according to the level of threat to their extinction. The BRS, that is the Basel, Rotterdam, and Stockholm conventions, also have their own systems. So, like the Basel Convention has an annex system where it categorizes the different kinds of hazardous waste and household waste. So every MEA is particular, although the overarching structure, more or less, is common throughout the MEAs. So, as I mentioned, the things to consider when it comes to implementation of MEAs. MEAs, first and foremost, call for the establishment of legal frameworks and for enforcement. So it's not enough in some cases, depending on the legal systems of countries, that a country has signed or has ratified an MEA. Sometimes this MEA has to be domesticated by developing laws at the national level. So for customs, it would be best to be aware of the MEAs, but also to be aware of the national laws that are corresponding to the MEAs, because that's where you get the mandate to implement this from. So implementation of MEAs does not call for additional mandates on customs. Usually this will be integrated into the day-to-day functions of the custom. The only challenge is, and you know this much better than I do, that customs handle a huge volume of trading in goods. And so it's a lot of expectation on customs to also now be, involved in regulating or rather enforcing or ensuring compliance to MEAs. But there are certain things that customs can do, and this can be integrated into their day-to-day activities. For instance, when you identify, checking for suspicious items, it's good to have the knowledge of which goods are regulated under these MEAs. When it comes to seizure and disposal, it's good to know which authorities to work with and what to look out for. You are the frontline officers, so you're obviously the first ones to encounter any health or safety issues that might arise, for instance, in the trade of chemical weapons or hazardous waste. You also should be aware of different legal issues pertaining to MEAs. For instance, what happens when you encounter goods from a country that is not party to a particular MEA? What are the rules around that? Or goods that are within a regional economic bloc. But the underlying thing for customs to be always cognizant of is the need to work with other authorities. This is the most important call for customs when it comes to implementing green customs, because you may not always have the mandate to ensure or compliance to MEAs. And what usually happens is that each MEA has a designated national authority. They are referred by different terminologies depending on the MEAs. It could be a management authority, a competent authority, a designated authority. But these are good authorities to have contacts with if you're customs. And then customs also play a key role in reporting cases of illegal traffic in environmentally sensitive commodities. And you host a lot of useful data. Ferdinand pointed out that data is a big issue, and you host a lot of useful data that can be used to identify trends in environmental crime, to the extent that such data is not confidential. Of course, you might also know this much better than I, but some of the implementation challenges that we've observed in our interactions with customs is, first, the most basic is that there's inadequate knowledge of MEAs and the related national laws. Another big challenge is lack of coordination between customs and the relevant regulatory authorities, and mostly the MEAs, implementing authorities that I was just referring to. A practical issue is identifying these commodities, these environmentally sensitive commodities, matching them to the harmonized codes, or there's usually mismatch of the harmonized codes. Another issue is developing risk profiles or having intelligence sharing systems, insufficient data collection and analysis capabilities, and also high turnover rates of customs operations staff. And some of the basic ways that, some long-hanging fruits that customs can consider is fast training on grain customs, and this training to be done in a systematic way, not in an ad hoc way. And one of the solutions to this is to ingrain the idea of grain customs into the regular customs training programs. So right from the go, new customs officers coming into the field already know about green customs. Of course, enhancing new data capabilities, which was also emphasized by Mr. Ferdinand, keeping in touch with the different MEAs, competent authorities. There are a lot of courses on MEAs out there that would be useful, and also, of course, creating partnerships with the relevant entities that have the requisite mandate. And this is where we come in, the Green Customs Initiative. And we are a loose partnership of about 13 entities, international entities, all involved in some way in supporting customs in their respective mandate. And we are UNEP and UNODC. This is the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, and different MEA secretariats. So I had already mentioned some conventions. We have the Basel, Rotterdam, and Stockholm Convention Secretariat. This is a joint secretariat for the 3 conventions. We have the Minamata Convention. We have the Cartagena Protocol under the CBD, the Convention of Biological Diversity. We have the CETIS Secretariat. And then we have the Ozone Secretariat, which administers work to do with the Montreal Protocol on ozone depleting substances. And then we have what we call Ozone Action, which is also support work to do with ODS, ozone depleting substances. We have Interpol, which is the International Criminal Police. And lastly, we have OPCW, which is the Organization for Prohibition of Chemical Weapons. So all these entities came together because they realized that they need to better coordinate their efforts, to leverage resources, but also to magnify the impact of the individual efforts. And one of the main purposes of GCI is to promote coordination and to promote cooperation. And we do this at different levels. So we do it at the national level. So for instance, between customs administrations and other environmental regulatory authorities. We do it at the regional level between different customs customs from different countries, rather, sorry. And then we also do it at the international level by bringing the different entities that are involved in this space together. So one of the main activities that we carry out is trainings on MEAs, and this can be customized to a country's needs. So for instance, we recently had a training workshop on illegal trafficking of waste in Oman, and this was based on a request from the government. They had identified a need, and we were able to come in and provide training on that. We've previously had some regional trainings, and I see some of the participants in this meeting, so that's good to see you again. In Southeast Asia, it was held in Vietnam, bringing together countries from the region to share experiences on green customs, and also to enhance their cooperation. There was also another training in South Asia with a similar objective. We've had other national events. We also do a lot of awareness raising. So these are just some of the examples, just to give you an idea of what we work on. In terms of products, we have a handy tool that is called the Green Customs Guide to Multilateral Environmental Agreements. And I would encourage all customs officers to read this book, because what it does is to go into detail of the MEAs that are covered under the initiative. It provides an overview, the trade control measures in the MEA, the documentation that is required by the MEAs, further resources if you want more information. So it's quite a handy tool for the day-to-day frontline customs officers. And I would recommend reading it with the WCO's frontline customs officers practical guide. Yeah, so I really would insist that you have a look at the guide if you would like to better understand your role in customs, in green customs. We also do specific campaigns, like what you see on the screen was a campaign that we did in India for air traffic workers, just to sensitize them on how to identify environmental sensitive commodities. We help countries to develop national curriculum. So we've been doing that in Kenya, but we've also developed a regional curriculum for the Latin America and Caribbean region. And we're happy to support more countries upon request. We also have different MEA courses, or rather green customs courses on the CLIC platform, which some of you might be familiar, if not most of you. It's a WCO hosted platform. And then this is not a GCI project, but I just wanted to point it out. We have a UNEP UNODC joint project called Unwaste that is implemented in the Asia region. And one of the activities that UNEP is working on under this project is a feasibility study to develop tools and initiatives that promote sharing or real-time information, exchange of information. And I think this would also be something to look out for and would be very beneficial to customs. And lastly, if you want to know more about the GCI, please do visit our website, Green Customs organization.com.org, sorry. Also, please visit the CLIC website that I talked about with the MEA courses, and Infomea. Infomea is a database, a UNEP database that has everything to do with MEAs. If you want to deepen your understanding of MEAs, I would highly recommend Infomea. We have some activities planned for the next year, but I will stop here in the interest of time. I can see the moderator about to speak. So please go ahead, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your presentation, Ms. Wanjiru. Please give a big applause for Ms. Banjiru. We realize that there are many things that custom can do, but first, custom need to strengthen the administration. For example, there are so many conventions that custom officers need to be aware of. Ladies and gentlemen, let us move to the next agenda, which is the presentation of Dr. Anton Purnomo. He is currently serves as the director of the Basel and Stockholm Convention, Regional Center for Capacity Building and Transfer of Technology for Southeast Asia. The Basel Convention on the Control of Transboundary Movement of Hazardous Waste and their Disposal was adopted in 1989 in response to the discovery of deposits of toxic waste in Africa and other parts of the developing world. The overreaching objective of this convention is to protect human health and the environment against the adverse effect of hazardous waste. The Stockholm Convention on the Persistent Organic Pollutants is a global treaty to protect human health and the environment from highly dangerous, long-lasting chemicals by restricting and ultimately eliminating their production, use, trade, release, and storage. As the director of the Basel and Stockholm Conventions Regional Center for Capacity Building and Transfer of Technology for Southeast Asia, Dr. Anton Purnomo lead the center in providing services for the implementation of the Basel and Stockholm Convention to the parties, namely Southeast Asia countries. The core function of the center include training, technology transfer, information, consulting, and awareness raising. Dr. Anton Purnomo graduated from Gajah Mada University for bachelor degree in chemical engineering. He completed the MSc and PhD also in chemical engineering with interest study in catalyst at the La Salle University, the Philippines. His post-study in catalyst research was conducted at Tokyo Institute of Technology, Japan. So I think it is okay to greet you in Japanese. Konnichiwa, Dr. Anton.
Konnichiwa.
O genki desu ka?
Genki desu.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big round of applause to Dr. Anton Purnomo. Pak Anton, you have 20 minutes. The time is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Yudi. I don't know whether I should stand up or...
It's okay.
It's okay.
Stand up.
No, because usually we don't have the monitor here, so I have to take a look in the screen at the back. Anyway, since we have the screen here, so it will be maybe easier for the cameraman to take the video. Good morning, Bapak Ibu sekalian. Although I would like so much to speak in Indonesian because I'm also Indonesian, but I saw here there are so many online participants, around 112, I think, online participants. So perhaps maybe there is some also participants who are from abroad, so that's why please allow me to remain to speak in English. So I was given a task by the pusdiklat custom to share something about the custom role on sustainability or green custom, particularly on the effort related to controlling cross-border movement of waste within the Southeast Asian region. So next slide, please. So from the previous speakers, we already hear from WCO and then also from UNEP. From UNEP, particularly Jacqueline mentioned about the multilateral environment agreement, and there are many multilateral agreements, and then among that agreement, there are Basel Convention on the control of transboundary movement of hazardous waste and their disposal, which was signed in 1989, and then up to date there are around 191 countries who are joining the convention, and then usually they having a meeting every 2 years. Usually in the meeting on the conference of party is held in Geneva, and then this is the picture during the conference. And in 1995, it is adopted that Indonesia will be one of the regional center hosts, and we are supposed to serve 10 Southeast Asia countries, as Dr. Yudi already mentioned. And then the framework agreement in national level were strengthened by the presidential regulation number 60 year 2005. And then our regional center here, the duration of the regional center is valid until 2029. And in 2013, we also uh, 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 appointed by the convention Stockholm as the regional center also for the Stockholm Convention. So at the moment, our office that is hosted by the Ministry of Environment and Forestry in Manggalawana Bhakti are having two mandates. One is for the Basel Convention Regional Center, and then the second is for the Stockholm Convention Regional Center. At the moment, we don't have the Rotterdam Convention Regional Center yet. However, we, the regional center, because it is only for Basel and Stockholm only, we also serve activities in terms of implementation of the Rotterdam Convention. And recently there is also a Minamata Convention, and at the moment we don't, in the world there is no Minamata Convention Regional Center yet, and we also support the implementation of the Minamata. So this is a little bit about us. We are, our office is located in Manggalawana Bhakti in Senayan, and then I was appointed as the director for the regional center since 2018. Next slide, please. Okay. When I was asked to talk about the effort, actually in the Basel Convention umbrella, there are a lot of things that is being considered there. However, I just want to inform you, for example, a small issue, for example, in the plastic transboundary movement. So, next slide, please. So there are, in 2019, the Conference of Parties agree to control all of the movement of the plastic scraps. Before, there is no control. So all business can just send their plastic scraps to other countries, and then it is worldwide accepted, something like that. And however, since 2018, China closed their border, so all of the scrap plastic goes everywhere because they cannot enter China, so they goes everywhere, particularly for to the Southeast Asia. And then most of that scrap plastic, sometimes they consist hazardous waste or waste, something like that. So maybe around 70% they can recycle the plastic, but the rest they cannot recycle anymore. So, for example, what's happening in Indonesia is some of the scrap that cannot be recycled just being dumped somewhere, or the worst case is it is given to the small medium enterprises, for example, a toffee company in Indonesia. So if Bapak Ibu can Google, you can search information that some times ago in 2019 there is one village, Desa Tropodo in Sidoarjo, where they receive some kind like scrap plastic that cannot be recycled anymore, and then they use it for fuel to burn their product, the tofu, to make the product. And what happened with the burning of the plastic scrap, and that will omit senyawa that we call it dioxin furan. It is considered as persistent organic pollutant because it is dangerous, and then usually dioxin furan have a lipophilic characteristic. So when it goes to the environment and then suddenly it drops to the earth, and then there is many high concentration of dioxin furan in the land, and then the chicken just go around, and then the chicken eat the earth, the dirt, because they have to, they use it to help their digestion. And the dioxin furan that is eaten by chicken goes to the egg. So there is a research in 2019 that most of the chicken egg in that area consists of very, very high dioxin furan. So we don't know whether we already eat the chicken or not. But this is a simple case, something like that. And I believe that it's also happening in all around Southeast Asian countries, because we have similar culture, we have similar activities, something like that. So previously, scrap plastic is not considered as hazardous, and then it can be what you call it. It can be it can move freely. However, since there is some issue, some case like that, so in 2019, the Basel Conference of Party decided to adopt this new regulation. So all of the plastic transboundary scrap should be reported to the Basel Competent Authority. And then, so in here, the Annex 9, it is pure, it is clean one, so it doesn't need the PIC, prior informed consent. However, for the gray area, it should be informed to the Basel Competent Authority, and then the Basel Competent Authority will will check in the national level whether the national level can recycle it or not. Otherwise, the Basel Competent Authority have the right to say, no, we cannot accept this kind of plastic scrap. Oh, okay, we can accept. So when the Basel Competent Authority says that it is okay, so the movement of the plastic scrap can, what you call it, can start. Next slide, please. Okay, I will make very fast with my presentation. Okay, next slide. Next slide, Mas, please. Next slide. This is from. So this is the one that I already mentioned. Since 2018, China closed the border. Next slide. All of plastic goes to all Southeast Asian countries. This is the 4 biggest countries that is importing plastic scrap: Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, and Vietnam. Next slide, please. So this is other Southeast Asian countries that is having low importation of plastic scrap, but in here we can see that Laos is now getting higher. So it means perhaps they now become a major player also in the Southeast Asia. Next slide, please. So the red number here mentioned that it means that the country is importing more plastic rather than export plastic. Next slide, please. So within the implementation or entry into force of plastic ban amendment, developed countries need to reduce or need to pre-treat their plastic scrap. So that's why, for example, Japan, their export of plastic is reducing. Next slide, please, because they have to pre-treat within their national level. And it is also happening for the importers, for example, like Malaysia. It is reducing since the implementation or the entry into force of the plastic amendment. Next slide, please. So this is the role of the Basel Competent Authority that is here under the Ministry of Environment and Forestry, and then the Ministry of Environment and Forestry checking all of the plastic recycle company in Indonesia, and then when they are they check, they validate if they are capable to treat or to recycle plastic, they will give the import recommendation letter. But it is only 50% quota, and then the 50% other, they have to get the resources from the national level to also, resolve the problem that we have in terms of plastic. Next slide, please. So this is the diagram flow, how the company can get the some kind like hygiene permit, because before many of the company are only so-called abal-abal company, Pak. So they are just company in the ruko, and then they don't have a recycling facility, and then when there is a problem, they just go out, they just run, something like that. So now it is much better. Next slide, please. So in here, Indonesia have some capacity to recycle plastic scrap. Next slide, please. This is the information as of 2022. We have 34 companies that is given the recommendation. Next slide, please. Okay, next slide. So we have annual meeting with Basel competent authorities in the Southeast Asia, and also other neighboring countries like Australia, Japan, Korea, something like that. It is to promote the understanding about the Basel competent authority, and then because somehow there should be a permit, it should be a approval from the Basel competent authority before they can go. So when they meet each other, they know that person, and then it makes easier in terms of communication, exchanging email, etc., etc. Even somehow they use the WhatsApp communication, something like that. So it is very important to strengthen the collaboration within the Southeast Asian region. Next slide, please. So it is started from 2004 until now. Next slide, please. And we always been the organizer for this kind of event. Next slide. Last year was in Medan. This is the picture. Next slide, please. And there is a lot of topic that we discussed during that meeting. Next slide, please. Next slide. But we also communicate with the custom. So during our meeting in Medan, we also visit Belawan port, and then we have also discussion with the custom in Medan. And for the next this year, it will be in Bangkok, and then we also have communication with custom in Bangkok Port Authority. So the other effort is we also try to develop the regional standard requirement for transboundary movement of plastic waste, because for Indonesia, the national level on the plastic waste regulation is strong already. But some neighboring some countries in Asia, for example Laos, they still weak in national regulation. So we would like to have some kind like common understanding in the region in order to protect the region from importation from developed country, because sometimes they use the weakness for what you call it as a entry port, something like that, and then it goes everywhere, something like that. So instead of Basel, we also have supporting for the Minamata Convention also here. Last COP Minamata was in Bali, and then there is a Bali Declaration that Indonesia is leading to combat illegal trade on mercury, something like that. So we have also here support the implementation of the Minamata Convention, Pak. And then I also remember in 2019 we have a capacity building workshop on POPs analysis, persistent organic pollutant analysis, and we also invited some custom member to join, because custom person is the garda terdepan, the front line who can protect all the countries from importation or from incoming persistent organic pollutant, for example, like that. So during that time, we also inform and that how to some can like to easy detect something like that, because sometimes it is very difficult for custom officer to distinguish whether this is hazardous or not, something like that. So it is, I think it is also very important to have some can like sharing information on what is new technology that it is established, and then it can be used to equip our custom officer to protect in the countrywide. Next slide, please. I think this is the last. And then we also have networking with the WCO, UNODC, etc. And this is in the right side is the picture during the WCO meeting in Phnom Penh, Cambodia. We also share something about the Basel Convention. And then we also participate during the meeting in Perth. And in here, in the left side, there is also the DG of WCO with other high-level officer from Indonesia. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pak Anton Purnomo. It's very eye-opening presentation, particularly for custom officer, because usually we don't pay much attention about this issue. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our discussion. We will have about 40 minutes. We will have first term with 3 questions from this floor. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Please state your name and your affiliation, and then to whom your question is directed to.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, thank you, Pak Yudi, for the opportunity. My name is Inti Briliani from the DGCE. I'd like to extend my highest appreciation to all of the speakers for their insightful presentations. My question goes to Ms. Wanjiru. Well, how can UNEP encourage all member countries to ratify the MEA to support protecting the environment from the waste transboundary movement? As we might be aware that some of the countries which are categorized as exporting countries of the waste are not the contracting parties of the MEA. And it is quite difficult, I think it would be quite difficult to control if they are not the contracting party. So how would UNEP overcome this issue? Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much for your question. Please be brief with your question.
Okay, thank you so much for the speakers. So actually, I do not have any specific speakers. I mean, I have a lot of questions that I want to every speakers. I want to seek the speaker's view on this issue. So as we know that Indonesia has a big amount of imports of electronic products. And I see that we do not, as Indonesian government, we do not have any clear action. We do not have any clear law on the e-waste management. I think Pak Anton know very well about this issue. So as we know that every single products that we import, especially from the electronic products, it will be disposed and become e-waste, electronic waste. And the problem that we have in Indonesia that we do not have any appropriate facilities to to recycle of those products. So there are 2 conditions actually. The first, of course, we do not have the proper facilities to recycle, and this leads to there are a lot of informal informal recycle facilities, like for example, children, like mothers who informally using non-safe methods that maybe there are a lot of negative effects afterwards on their health or and etc. I don't know. And then the second condition is, if we, I don't know, I would like to seek your views, the three speakers on this one. So if we have the appropriate facilities, I mean the government facilitate the the proper facilitates. I mean they have the clear law, the framework, and then they have the clear management on the e-waste itself. I think for the custom itself, this is just my mind. I also want to seek views from the WCO. I think the custom has the responsibility to establish the special zone. I mean, the special zone for the recycle one. And then maybe it's very interesting if we can give a fiscal incentive to the special zone itself on the recycle, and I think it will give much benefits for the economy itself, for the people itself, and then we can, who knows, we can utilize those e-waste system, and yeah, I seek for your views on this one. Thank you.
One more question. Please be brief. Please state your name first.
Okay. My name is Marsanto for Polytechnic of State Finance, PKN Stan. My question is for Mr. Ferdinand and Ms. Jacqueline. My question is, what is the key challenge and lesson learned from a green custom implementation at UNEP and WCO? And for Mr. Anton, in your opinion, do the waste import regulation in Indonesia protect the society already? Or what rules need to be improved? Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your questions. I would like Mr. Dismazirs to answer the question first, and then followed by Ms. Wanjiru, and lastly, Pak Anton.
Yes, thank you very much. I have seen some questions directed to me in the chat, so I don't know if I have to reply to this one as well.
Please answer the question from the floor first.
Okay.
And we can deal with that chat later.
Okay, because actually the question from Indonesia, so thank you for your question, is really related to one of the questions received on the chat that was talking about the challenges expecting to be faced by customs administration in implementing circular economy principles, because here you are talking about recycling, which is one of the main part of circular economy, and for sure the issue right now is that there is a lack of common definition. There is a lack of common understanding about what we mean when we talk about these products, which means that to get the facilities, etc., it cannot be always easy if there is no common framework on this, and this is why, on the international organization perspective, the idea is to cooperate with others to find common definition on that, and be able to support countries in the implementation of such facilities for recycling, of course, but for other things, because at the end we are talking about reusable product, remanufactured product, recycled product. So we have a lot of different aspects on that, which will need a new kind of facilities. Special incentive could be reflected after, of course. But I think that for now we need to have common framework for this. And just to reply quickly to the other question, I think I missed the country. I'm not sure which country it was. But the lessons learned from the implementation of the Green Customs Action Plan in the case of the WCO, this plan is quite young. So we just started to talk about green customs within the WCO itself. Even if we cooperated with other organizations, of course, but direct discussion within the WCO is quite new. And what we noticed right now is that we are not ready yet for this. It's a fact. We learned that we still have a lot of work to do to be able to get the correct skills within the WCO itself. Because when we provide capacity building, if we don't have the skill to train members efficiently, there is no use for it. So we see that customs are in need of support on that, but we see also that the WCO needs to develop further its own skills to support this transition. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Desmaziers. Ms. Wanjiru, it's your turn.
Thank you so much, Mr. Moderator, and thanks to Indonesia and to everyone who's posed a question. So in regards to what UNEP can do to encourage ratification of waste-related MEAs, specifically bezel, I think I will allow me to start off with a disclaimer that UNEP is a member state-driven organization. And so the work that we do is informed priorities that have been set out by the countries themselves. So that said, we do try to promote adoption of MEAs in a variety of ways. One of it is capacity building that I've been speaking about in relation to the GCI. But we also support countries when it comes to legal development. So we do a lot of legal analysis. We do support when it comes to legal drafting. And we also do development of environmental law under a program known as the Montevideo Program on Development and Implementation of Environmental Law. So these are just some of the tools that we support states with. But again, going back to my disclaimer, this has to be in response to an interest by the country. And so in that way, it works both ways. There has to be a push within the country itself, whether it be from consumers or different stakeholders for the country to take a certain regulatory direction. And then from the other end, we can support in terms of addressing the needs that have been identified. For the Basel Convention specifically, there is a BRS secretariat, and they may have more information on this. Perhaps also that speaker might have more information on this. But the Basel Convention itself has a provision for trading with non-parties. And the main principle under the convention is that this kind of trade is not allowed, but there are exceptions. And these exceptions are where, for instance, a country has entered into a bilateral agreement with a non-party, or if the trading is within the framework of a regional bloc where such trade is allowed. And such trade has to be in conformity to the objectives of the Basel Convention. So you can see that the different MEAs try to provide some kind of leeway to trade with non-parties, but this is very specific to certain MEAs, and it's not certainly applied through all of the MEAs. In terms of challenges, I agree with Mr. Ferdinand. It's still, quite early on to have tangible lessons learned. But the challenges that we face, particularly when it comes to implementation of MEAs, is a pretty basic one: the lack of knowledge of MEAs, coupled with the lack of coordination with the different regulatory authorities that might have the information on MEAs. This is a major challenge that is reiterated in all the interactions that we have with customs. And lessons learned is that there's a lot of information out there. It's just a matter of accessing it. National curriculums are a good and sustainable way to integrate green customs right from the go, as I had mentioned before. Back to you, Mr. Moderator. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Pak Anton. Silakan.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Yudi. First of all, I would like, if I may, to respond also Ibu Entri Priliani. If I'm not mistakenly, you are questioning how about countries who are not in the part of, for example, Basel Convention, right? For example, US. US is not part of the Basel Convention, but they are still keep exporting waste to all of countries, something like that. So, just to inform you, I just want to, how do you call it, to respond only in the Basel Convention context. So, actually in 1995, there are already a ban amendment, which is clearly state that all countries it should follow Basel Convention. This is in 1995, but the entry into force is very, very difficult because there's of course a lot of political something like things, etc., something like that. However, Indonesia and Switzerland make initiative, it calls country-led initiative, to have approval because the convention is not based on what you call it, food, but based on communication, on the agreement. If there's already agreed, maybe two-thirds of the parties, so it become something like it will be adopted by the convention, something like that. So in 2019, Indonesia and Switzerland work together to invite all members in these parties of the Basel Convention to agree with that kind of ban amendment. That's why in 2019 there is entry into force of the ban amendment. It clearly stated that it is in Annex 7, that is party and other states which are member of OECD or EC or Liechtenstein should follow the Basel Convention. So US is part of the OECD. So all of developed countries, etc., they have to follow the rule and regulation of Basel Convention. So there is no more exception. So I'm proud of as an Indonesian that we and Switzerland try to make this kind of initiative. So I hope it clears, Ibu. So about Pak, I forgot. I think you don't mention your name. Pak siapa? Pak Pringgo. Okay. Pak Pringgo about the e-waste. So yes, you're right. Maybe we are not really put into consideration a lot on the e-waste because now the big issue is still on plastic waste. However, in the convention, in the Basel Convention, Conference of Parties, it is already being discussed. And it is agreed in just recently, in 2023, last May, that all of the transboundary of electronic waste will be regulated under the Basel Convention also, but it will only enter into force in 2025. So we still have time to prepare ourselves. Yeah, because Indonesia is, I mean, we are, actually it is also a response to Pak Marsanto. In the national level, we are very, very strong. In the Undang-Undang nomor 32 tahun 2009, in the law of 32, number 32 on 2009, it is about the perlindungan, protection of environment. It is clearly mentioned that Indonesia are not importing waste, hazardous waste specifically. So, if anybody, if any company, institution import hazardous waste, it is really against, it is already criminal, something like that. So we have a very, very good regulation, very strong regulation. However, sometimes the businessmen are working in the gray area, something like that. So it is, we are not allowed to import waste, but use equipment it's still allowed. So use electronic is okay to be imported. And sometimes maybe 70% of that goods is already cannot be turned on anymore, something like that. So I agree to Pak Pringgo tadi that if in the national context we have good capacity on treating of the electronic waste, it will become a circular economy also. And we have, for example, like PPLI, PPLI itu, there is e-waste, not e-waste, but waste management company in Bogor. Ministry of Environment has a share in that company. It is belong to Japan actually. It has sophisticated facility to treat waste in Indonesia level. And for example, in electronic waste, there is also other, maybe not big, but medium enterprises, for example, Mukti Mandiri in Karawang, and then Citra Asia Raya in Purwakarta. They are already able to treat this kind of electronic waste. In fact, do you know that Jakarta collect electronic waste every time? Jakarta, DKI Jakarta province. If you have a big equipment, electronic, big use waste of electronic, you don't have to pay when you want to throw it away. Unlike in Japan everything you have to pay. When you, not only electronic, but even suitcase, when you want to throw away your suitcase, broken suitcase, you have to pay. But in here, Jakarta province is very generous. So you don't have to pay if you want to throw away, just inform the local government. So in certain quantity, certain amount, there will be a person from the government, Jakarta government, to collect your waste, your e-waste. And they are having a partnership with Citra Asia Raya. They will bring it to Citra Asia Raya to be treated in that company. So Jakarta is one of a good model actually. Hopefully it can be also replicated in other big cities in nationwide. So we don't have to worry much with kind of electronic waste. However, it's still, now it's only in the first stage. So hopefully we will have a good enough capacity in nationwide for treating the electronic waste. Thank you, Pak.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Anton Purnomo. I think we still have time, so I will open a question from online participants. Ms. Nguyen, please, your question.
Okay, now I can unmute myself. Thank you very much for the opportunity. And my name is Hong Nguyen from Vietnam Customs. I'm happy to see many familiar faces and friends in the forum. So my question going to Ferdinand from the WCO. Thank you very much for the excellent presentation. So regarding the circular economy, we have to think about to facilitate and control the reverse supply chains, which involve second-hand goods, refurbish, remanufacturing, supply chains, etc. So the issues of HS valuations, goods policies, tax return, especially VAT returns, are linked to the RKC and HS classification convention. So, so I think that we may have already at the WCO forum some discussion about this. I would like to hear the update on this. Regarding the WTO trade facilitation agreement, when we talk about the green customs and the role of customs to facilitate green customs, green supply chains, we may have to think about some issues such as how to facilitate energy, renewable energy goods, how to consider the term of custom territory, because we have to control at the source, in order to make sure that goods using responsible or sustainable materials, etc. So do you think that, or you foresee that in the near term, the RKC and WTO TFA would be amended to reflect these issues? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Nguyen. We also have one question from this mezzanine room, Bu Ani.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah,
silakan.
okay. Thank you for the opportunity, Pak Yudi. My name is Firsti, and I'm from the regional office in Banten, Jakarta. I'm interested in green custom delivered by Mr. Ferdinand Desmazieres. You mentioned the one of focuses WCO is green custom. Our administration, of course, Banten office, also very concerned about the agenda. We have conducted several activities to support the green custom, not only the office, but for our stakeholder. For example, we have some campaign to bring your own tumbler, provide indoor plant and flower to the office, collect used cooking oil from our home, and maintain the emission carbon of the official cars. And also for the stakeholder, we provide bonded zone facilities for plastic recycling industries and used cooking oil processing industries. As we know, and Mr. Desmazieres delivered, WCO published Green Custom Action Plan, and however, the action plan doesn't provide any standard guidance for each custom administration member to prepare a strategic framework related to custom action plan from WCO. Internally, so currently, we have developed our internal framework version and implemented. So my question, I have two questions. Could WCO give us some assistance to make the strategic framework to implement the green custom in our office? And number two, what custom administration can be benchmark success story experience, not only in terms of a strategic framework, but also implemented in green custom? Thank you in advance.
Thank you, Bu Anin. I think we still have time for one more question. We have here in front, please. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. My name is Yendo from Customs. I believe that global waste and recycling service this market is gradually increasing and that the likelihood for manufacturers to move toward recycled materials, and that there is a idea to support circular economy. So I think that eventually there will be a time where a trade of environmentally sensitive commodities not only needed to be controlled but also facilitated. So I wonder how this notion has been discussed, whether in WTO or in the UN. Are we moving towards the facilitation phase, or we're still ongoing on the controlling phase of such trade? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Some question for Mr. Desmaziers, but I also invite Ms. Wanjiru and Pa Anton. If you have any opinion, you can add after Mr. Desmaziers. Mr. Desmaziers, please.
Yes, thank you very much. So I will start with Vietnam. Hello, Hong, nice to see you. Regarding your question, well, as you know, within the WTO we have the technical teams, and I am myself part of the office of the Secretary General, so mainly dealing with strategic issues. So I will reply for myself for what I'm doing in terms of strategy. You know, the RKC is definitely one of the flagship convention of the WTO. This is something that we are repeating a lot. So for me, when we start to develop a specific green customs action plan, and that we put green customs as one of the focus areas of the strategic plan, we commit to change, and we commit to include this aspect in our main instruments. So for me, the RKC is definitely something where green customs, green procedures, so something new should be created. Because as I said, with circular economy, we will enter in a new kind of trade, which will require a new way of operating. And the RKC is you know, it's the main instrument for customs to know how to deal with trade in general. So for me, it's obvious. Well, when it comes to the TFA, as you know, we don't have any kind of hand on the TFA. So hopefully we will work with the WTO, because if we change the RKC to include this green aspect, it would be logical because of the alignment between the RKC and the TFA to work together on the possible review of the TFA. But I cannot advance myself saying that it will be the case, because at the end it's a decision from the WTO. And then I will move to the question from the regional office in Indonesia. It's interesting to see what you have done locally. I noted because you were talking about greening the infrastructure and greening your daily practices, but also the doing, because you did that for the stakeholders working with you as well, and it's very good examples that we could follow. And after that, you say that the action plan does not provide any kind of guidance for customs. I think you are right. You are right, because as I said, we are not ready yet as the WTO. So for the time being, we need to collect more practices. We need to raise our understanding, our knowledge, to know how to address these issues efficiently. The this topic is so broad that at the end, if we want a targeted approach from customs, we need to understand what we are talking about. And this is why I fully agree with you when you say that we need more success stories. And it's one of the main work of the WCO to collect members' practices and put them in documents that are the basis of the standards to come after, because this collect of practices is something that you should do before entering into more detail and provide guidance and talk about standardization of customs procedures. Yeah, so I think I cover your question. And for the last question, I'm not sure I fully understood the question. If I understood correctly, it was to know at which stage we are between the control and the facilitation of goods emanating from the circular economy. And I would say that we are still in the process of looking for the right balance for that, but we are still in the process of gathering knowledge on these goods and to be able to classify them as good from circular economy as well. We for the time being, we need to understand that the world is moving. And it's related to one of the questions I saw in the chat as well, about the impact of circular economy on trade. For me, it will be massive. It's a total game changer. We are coming from a linear economy where it was very easy because when one product was created somewhere, has a life cycle and became waste, and we treated things like that on a regular basis. And now in circular economy, we are in a circle, meaning that in the best scenario, a product can live forever and be reused, and that means that for procedure it will be a change, like a massive change. It will be a massive change to facilitate the facilitation of this product. It will be a change also in controlling this product, because you know that everything is evolving. So when we start to develop things like that, criminal activities are moving as well. So everything is moving at the same time, and we need to learn progressively all of this. But it's like it's a fascinating topic. So I could talk about it for a long time. But I will give the floor to the other speakers now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Despaziers. Ms. Wanjiru, do you have anything to add?
Yes, thank you a lot, Mr. Moderator. I think I agree with Mr. Ferdinand's sentiments in all the responses. When it comes to the TFA, as you said, this is under the WTO mandates, so it would be not in our place to predict. But that said, there is a lot of movement within the WTO towards sustainability. There's already the anchor of the GATT exceptions that have to do with environmental protection and with health. And there's the preamble provisions that also provide for balancing between trade interest and environmental interest. But beyond that, there is movement within the WTO. There is some structured discussions on sustainability that are ongoing, and who's to know where this is going to lead, and they've gained a lot of momentum. There's also the fisheries agreement, which also has to do with the environmental protection. So the idea of sustainability is really being discussed within WTO, which is something quite new. And if you're a trade expert, you would not really have expected to happen. Also, within the WTO, they have a trade facilitation team. that is quite keen on green customs, and it's one of the entities that we're also exploring, partnership with in terms of combining our mandates to support countries. So again, there is a interest within the WTO. In terms of a country model, when it comes to green customs, speaking from our interaction with the customs, there's already a lot of innovative things going on, whether it's in terms of risk management. We were in Vietnam and Maldives this year, and they're doing great in terms of their risk management systems. Other countries that are using AI to do screening. And countries like Dominican Republic have institutionalized green customs within their administration, so they have a green customs unit. I think such practices are quite helpful when it comes to fostering compliance to MEAs. Whether facilitating or controlling, this is the tricky balance that we aim to get, as Ferdinand explained. From our experience at the GCI, we focused more on controlling, but mostly because of the statistics with environmental crime, and also because of our mandate. But increasingly, we have been called upon by Customs Administration to also support the facilitation aspect of it, because they go hand in hand. And so we are seeking out partners who are who have the mandate of trade facilitation, again going back to WTO, and this is an activity that we hope to do in the future, to combine both the trade facilitation aspects and the control aspects of it. And then I saw a comment in the chat about engaging the private sector, and I fully agree. Importers, exporters, transporters, shippers, customs brokers, agents, all this needs to be included in the conversation. And we want for next year to also come up with a guidance that is aimed at the private sector, working possibly with the International Trade Center. This is a very big constituent of people who influence green customs that cannot afford to be left out. I think that's mostly it. Back to you, moderator.
Thank you very much. Pak Anton, silakan.
Thank you, Pak Yudi. I just want to comment a bit about Pak Lindu concern, whether, correct me if I'm wrong, if I make different, what you call it, with your, the one that you want to ask. If I may, Pak Lindu is asking whether customs should facilitate or to restrict, right? Because of this, sometimes, or in that case, Pak Lindu, I believe, what you call it, there is a lot of communication already. However, of course, the things that is already agreed together, for example, in terms of Basel Convention to protect developing countries toward the disposal place from the developed countries. So, of course, regulation should be applied. I mean, strong, what you call it, penalty or whatsoever to companies which is really conducting bad habit, something like that, should be implemented. For example, like at the moment, because I also joined the Enforce working group. In this group, it is consists of Interpol and etc., something like that. And then in the Interpol, they are more concerned at the moment on environment crime. So in the past, perhaps they put a lot of focus on drug, etc. But now they put also a lot of effort on the environment, criminology, criminal things, something like that. So UNODC also, UN, because when it terms United Nations on drug and crime, I thought it is only in drug and crime, but now they also put a lot of effort on the environment treaty, something like that. So I believe it is, I mean, the implementation of the environment treaty will be better in the future. However, somehow it depends also in country basis, something like that. So in case the country is not ready or available to treat this kind of, for example, scrap waste or something like that, of course we have to protect. However, if the country is already equipped with the facility, recycling facility, not only plastic but also other materials, so I think we have to give facilitation to particular countries, something like that, because it will give more boost, more support to the national circular economy. And yeah, I think like that. So I think it depend. The implementation is depend on country based, something like that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anton Purnomo. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you still have many questions to ask our presenters, but unfortunately, we don't have any more time, so I have to end this session. Please give a big applause to our three presenters. I would like to remind you that we still have parallel research presentation this afternoon. In this room, you will be able to listen to a presentation of research on sustainability, while on the adjacent room, you will be able to listen to a presentation of research on digital economy. And also tomorrow, we will also present more speakers on custom role on digital economy. So don't forget to come and join us tomorrow. Thank you very much for your active participation in this conference. I hope you enjoyed this program. Back to you, Friska and Miras. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bapak Yudi Darmanali and all the speakers for the insightful discussions. And after this, we would like to give a token of appreciations to our distinguished speakers, Bapak Anton Purnomo, which will be handed over by the representative of RTC Indonesia, Bapak Mardial.
Okay, thank you very much. Please give big applause for all the presenters that have present their materials for today. Oh yeah, once again, this is a token appreciation presented by Bapak Mardial to Bapak Yudi as a moderator.
Once again, thank you, Bapak Mardial, Bapak Yudi Darmanali, and Bapak Anton Purnomo. You may now take your seat back. Thank you.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, allow us to introduce you to Zapin Senapelan. The word Zapin is derived from the Arabic language Zavan, which signifies a fast-paced foot movement in a harmony with a rapid beat. Meanwhile, Senapelan is a regional name in Riau province, Indonesia. This captivating performance and dance will be performed by the talented Ministry of Finance dancers. And we invite you to sit back and enjoy this beautiful performance. Please, ladies and gentlemen, Enjoy the show.
Senak belanta tak bernama
Once again, please give applause to the MOF dancer from Ministry of Finance. Ladies and gentlemen, before we proceed to our next agenda, we have a break schedule and we will be back at 13 and 10 minutes. And after the break, there will be paper presentation session that will be divided into 2 rooms. Whether the first room will present the sustainability issue and the second room will present the digital economy issue. Ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to choose the room that you are interested. The first room is located in this main hall, and the second room is located in the mezzanine two. And for the participants who join via Zoom meeting, please join through the link that sent you by the email or through the link that available on the link tree.
And for your certainty, is there any presentation that will see the presentation for room meeting 1? And this is for room 1 and room 2 for the presentation. You may choose whether that's taking your interest for upcoming session. Yeah, thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, we are now having a break and we'll be back at 13 to 10 minutes. And after that, you can choose whether room your preference, and you can have a lunch break, but we encourage you not to eat in this hall and eat the lunch provided by the committee in the designated hall. Thank you.